All right. Hello, welcome to Moses Tech Fix. Um, yes, fundamentals in Microsoft Office 365. All right. So last time we had Microsoft Word and we looked at many things. So I'm waiting for you guys to have a look through and then you ask questions. But today we are going to look at another office application which is called Microsoft Excel. Right, let's dig in. So remember I told you from the start that in case you need an office application, you can either right click on the desktop and then when you go to the new, you'll be able to find some of the office application. For example, the Excel is here. We call it the Excel or the worksheet or the spreadsheet. But the easiest way for me, which I prefer, is to always come down here to the search and then you type in Excel. Excel. So the moment you type in Excel, you will see that this is the first best match of the application. And then you click to open the Excel. So remember, it is the same thing in Microsoft Word. For your first time to open a document, you will always have templates. You see, you will always have templates. And these templates are already designed for you, just waiting for you to fill in the information. All right. So if you have anything that you would like to design in templates, for example, the billing statement, blood pressure tracker, expense report, loan amortization, personal monthly budget, sales report, time card, and things like that, you can always come to the templates and then you have as many as you can. And then other times, when you have internet, you can go further and search the templates here when you have internet or when you are connected to internet. You can go further and search the templates here. But for us, many times when we come here, uh, you can even see the recently documents that you worked on. These are the recent ones, like this one 18 minutes ago, 50 minutes ago. So yeah, that's where you see the recent documents. And in case you have been working on a document and maybe power goes off or your laptop breaks off, you can always find it here, just in case if it has automatically saved. You can find it in the recent document. But for now, we always aim for a blank document or a blank workbook. All right. So when we click there, this is the Excel. This is the way how it looks like. So basically here we are dealing with math, a lot of math, a lot of math and equations and formulas. And if you can remember very well, last time in the class I showed you the Microsoft Word when we saw the graphs and the pie charts. This is the best place to implement all those ideas. So yes, as Microsoft Word, it has the Excel also has a tabs and then the ribbons, and then only that for it has cells. These are called alphabetical cells, right? It has cells in alphabet. There are very many. They can even reach 1,000. We cannot finish all of them. There are very many cells, and there are very many numbers in the columns right here, from one even up to 1,000 of them. So yeah, it has ribbons as Microsoft Word, and it has tabs as the Microsoft Word as well. And when you look at the home ribbon, you will see that many of the features here, we talked about them in the Microsoft Word. Okay, so today I want us to look at uh, um, a few simple things. We are going to look at some simple formulas, and then we are going to look at data entry, and then we are going to do some simple formatting. right? Some simple formatting in the Excel. So yeah, yeah, I think so. After this, we shall be able to go to the next tab. But just to know, many of the things that we discussed in Microsoft Word, they are here. All right. So to begin, um, we when we look at this ribbon, you will notice that you have the copy and paste that we talked about in Microsoft Word. You have the font language, the font size, increasing the indents, the bold, the italics, the underline, the borders. Now here the borders are really very important in your work when you are designing an Excel. And then you have the spacings, and only here the difference is that you have an orientation or the text direction. It's right here. So you have the merge, you have the merge and center, you have the currency, you have the styles. All right. So let's look at the features that are here, and we missed them in Microsoft Word. All right. So the first thing we do here is to do data entry, right? What is data entry? Data entry is feeding or entering uh, uh, information or raw facts in an Excel, because remember data is data. They are raw facts that are not yet processed to become information. Or when you have your school, or when you have your anything, provided it is data, and you want to enter it and do some analysis, Excel is the best option. All right. Okay, just a second here. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so let's get back and get started. So take an example. You have a student report and you have student marks. All right, in your report, and then your boss says, "I want this report analyzed in Excel." All right. So, for example, you can say, "My school is called maybe let me say my school. My school is called that name." Take an example. That is the name of the school. And then your boss says, yes, stipulate for me the report in an Excel. So what will come into your mind is that first you will need to create the name of the student, and then you will need to enter in the subjects, for example, the English and the maths and the biology and maybe the science. It depends on which subjects are on the report card of the student. So remember, here in Excel we are dealing with data, we are dealing with tables, we are dealing with numbers, we are dealing with data analysis. Okay, so now here we have started doing what we call data entry, right? Data entry. So now, after that, you will have you will start writing the names of the students. And for example, you can say we have Moses, and then you press enter. We have Isaac, and then you press enter. We have Samuel, and then you press enter. After Samuel, we have Jane, and then we have Irene. Okay. So those are the names of the students. So here, how many marks did Moses get? For example, Moses got 70, Isaac got 80. Let me just fill these ones a bit much more faster. Okay, all right. And then I have this one. And then the last one. All right. So take an example. This is our data entry of a report that was required us to analyze in Excel from our boss. So when you have something like this, what comes to your mind, like if you are to analyze a report card of your student from school, what comes to your mind? Because you will not look at the subjects alone and then you say, oh, my student passed, he got 70, he got 60, he got what. There is an extra analysis that you would like to see. There is you would like to see how many aggregates, how many in what division is your student, in what position is your student. So things like that. Because reading all these subject and number by number or digit by digit, it's really tiresome. So you will need what we call an extra analysis. So that extra analysis here in Excel, sorry, that extra analysis, we do it here in Excel. We summarize everything here, all these numbers, into one simple analysis. Okay? So before we go to the formulas, I want us to do some simple editing in our report marks here. So for example, when you are required to use a font language of Times New Roman, remember I told you in Microsoft Word, the same thing applies here. You highlight and then you come to the font language, and then you can be able to change. You can be able to change. So if you check in the list and you don't see Times New Roman here, and you don't need to stress yourself scrolling, you can always type the language up here in case if you know the name, that Times New Roman. You'll even notice that before you finish the word, it has already appeared right here, and then you press enter. So when you press enter, you see that the information has changed to Times New Roman. All right. So another cool feature here, you notice that Excel it looks much more better in tables. So we again highlight our work, and then we come to choose the borders. All right. Remember in Microsoft Word, I told you whenever you see a drop down arrow, that means we have more options right there. So you tap on these options and then you see which one do you like. Do you prefer a bottom one, a top one, a left one? But for me this time around, I prefer all borders. All borders because I want all my work to be in a table form. So when I click right there, you see my work will be extracted in a table format, right? So and then you will notice that many of the symbols here, we already practiced them in Microsoft Word. So the only cool thing that was here are the borders in Excel. But the rest we practiced all of them in the Microsoft Word. All right. So then when we move on to alignment, right here, you will find that we have these top, bottom, left alignments. These ones on up here. So for example, when you um, highlight your numbers or when you highlight your figures that you want to edit, and you click here on the top alignment, you will notice that your work will be on the top alignments. For example, I have to make this one take effect by increasing the cells, the size of the cells here, such that you guys can really see what I am talking about right here. So when you highlight and you choose a top alignment, you will see that your work, all your numbers, they are aligned at the top. And then when you choose the middle alignment, you will see that your numbers shift from top to the middle. And then lastly, you will see that your numbers shift from the middle to the bottom. So it depends which one you prefer, but for this case, the middle one is better. All right. So this is the next cool alignment system, which is a bit different from Microsoft Word. But the rest down here, they're the usual ones in Microsoft Word. You put on the left, you put in the middle, you put on the right. They are the same. And then these ones, they are indents. You increase the indents of the words, you decrease the indents of the words. All right. So yeah, the rest are the same, and apart from this, there's this one, we call it text direction or orientation. So we saw this in Microsoft Word, but it was not going to take a good effect, or it was not going to be very important for us, or it was not going to be cool for us to use in Microsoft Word. So this is where it is the best platform to use in Excel. So for take an example, when you highlight all the names in this table, when you highlight all the names and you come to the text direction here, you can be able to choose which angle you want your names to face. All right, which angle would you like your names to face? All right, it depends on which one you like, but for this time I would like the angle which is clockwise. All right, the angle which is clockwise, and then you will see that your names have changed the way how they look. All right, even the borderline that has been in between your name and the first digits, it has also changed. So this is another a different cool feature that is here on the alignment ribbon in the home tab. Okay, guys, there are some Microsoft Office Word or Excels that do not have such features that I'm talking about right now, because remember, Microsoft Office, it has a lot of softwares. For example, there is 2007, there is 2010, there is 2013, there is 2021. There are very many, but now the current one is Microsoft Office 365. This is the current one. All right, the current one, the current office that many buildings, many offices in the whole world they use, because it is both online and offline. All right, so when you come across a Microsoft Office, like for example Excel, which does not have a view like mine, where the ribbon is not like looking like mine, you are going to see that some of these features, they are going to be hard for you to find. So it is always better for you to always practice not below than Office 2021. 2013 is okay, but below 21, I will not recommend you to practice, because there are some features in the that are in these new years than the ones that are in the old years. They are totally different. Okay, so please keep that in mind. And when you want to check the office you are using, you always come to the file and then you choose the account right here. So when you choose account, you will be able to see your Microsoft product information or your subscription right here on the top right. So for me, I'm currently using Microsoft 365 for business. Okay, so you always have to check which office you are using. Otherwise, when you go back to these old models, you are going to find that some of these cool features that should have been extended here on the home tab, they are found right away in many of these tabs, and it will be hard for you to find them. So the best thing I encourage you is to use Office 365. All right. So now, yeah, cool. Let's get back to our work. So we have been right here in the alignment, and we have seen how cool the text direction is. So the next thing here in the alignment, we have this is the merge and center, or merge text and center. So and this one is wrapping the text. So for example, if you write a word, if I'm writing a word, what is the meaning of this word? So if I make such a sentence, you will find that I am entering in 1, 2, 3 columns. I'm entering from column D to column H and to column I. All right. So when I want to click in this word, I cannot click in column H or column I, but I have to click in column D, and you'll see my word already appearing here in the formula bar, because this is where I started writing from. So this will make your work a bit disorganized, but if you want to arrange your work in one cell, you can either wrap it, you wrap the text like that. When you wrap the text, it will make sure that all it fits in one cell. Okay, and if you do not wrap, you can many times merge and center. But merging and center works more if you have a lot of work, a lot of words in a big cell. For example, if I continue, if I type something here like that, and my cell is too big, many times merge and center works here in the cell when the cell is too big. Okay, that's where the merge and center works, when the cell is too big. But when the work has exceeded your when your work has exceeded 2 columns, you always have to wrap it, the text. So when you wrap the text, you will be able to see that the information at least is fitting in one cell, as we did right here. So you wrap it, and then you'll see that it fits in one cell. All right. So yeah, that is another cool feature in the alignment. So when we go to the numbers, this one we always do not use it so much, apart from just apart from when you are designing a table that has currency, for example. This is where you select the currency. For example, when you have 100, and then you want to put a currency of a US dollar, this is where you can use, or a euro, this is where you can use the currency. You just write the amount, and then when you come back to click in the cell, you just choose the amount, the Swiss French. All right. So currency is always used at your own desire, or we always use it if the document we are designing is supposed to have it. But other than that, it is not something that we have to focus on. All right. Yeah. So now let's do some simple formulas. So in the formulas, the fundamental formulas in Excel, we have addition, we have addition, and then we have subtraction, and then we have multiply, and then we also have division or dividing. So all these formulas, they can be entered in the Microsoft Excel manually, but it depends which format would you want them to be in your document. Some you may need them in a horizontal format, or you can need them in a vertical format. So it depends how you want them to appear in your document. So for example, for me, I always prefer the horizontal. Yeah, I always prefer the horizontal style. So for example, now here in the work, uh, we shall begin with the total, right? We shall begin with the total, and then we can do the division, and then we can do uh, uh, we can do the total and then the division. So yeah, I'm going to do the total and the division, but I'm going to leave the multiplication and the subtraction for you guys to practice in your own free time. So, but I'm going to show you how we do it in the formula right here. So to get the total, remember when you are getting the total marks in your school or in your campus, you put a plus sign. So here in Microsoft Word, we have steps, more than two steps, or even three, or even two, of how we can add the total, or we can sum up the total in a cell. So the first thing we have to do always, please don't forget, the first thing we have to do always, since we are dealing with formulas, the first thing is we press equals. All right. So equals, they are the first is the first symbol that we are always supposed to use when we are starting to write formulas in Excel. And then the next step, we open up the brackets. All right. We open up the brackets. So after that, after opening up the brackets, you bring your mouse and then you click on the digit that you want to add. All right. So you will notice that when I click on 70, the computer is going to display for me B6 instead of 70. So Excel is not reading the digit, but it is reading the cell where you are entering data. It is reading a cell. And it is reading this cell in a column and row format. So column first, which is column B, and then row next, which is a row 6. Okay? Hope you get that. It reads a column first and then the row. So this is why I have B6 and always column first, which is column B. And then when you come to the rows, I'm on row number 6. This is why I have B6 here. And then on my keyboard, I will press the button called Shift and then I add a plus sign. And then I also come, after adding a plus sign, I come and click on 54. So you will see it will change color and read it as C6, column 6, and then row, column C, and then row number 6. I add the plus sign, and then I go to 55, column D, and then row number 6. That is D6. I add the plus sign for the last one, and then I click on 67, column E, and then row 6. Then after that, when you're finished to insert in everything, you will close the brackets that you had started from the beginning. These brackets, you close them, and then after closing them, you press enter. So when you press enter, you will see that you have 246 as the total. And when you click on 246 as a total, you will see that the computer displays for you the formula here in what we call the formula bar. All right. So this is the total of Moses. And then there is also another procedure, but this is quite easier. So remember, Excel is all calculations. So when you know a formula that you want to use, many times it will require you to just type in the name of the formula. For example, when I say equals, and then in capital letters, I click capital letters on my keyboard, caps lock, and then I write sum. You see, when I write sum, the computer has it written here for me. And then when I click in sum here, or when I press enter, oh sorry, uh, let's do it again, equals sum. After using sum, I highlight the oh sorry, okay, all right. So when I click equals sum, what am I forgetting? If anyone can guess, what am I forgetting? If anyone can guess. All right, I believe many people have got it right. I'm forgetting the brackets. So if you choose sum and then you open the brackets. So after opening the brackets, you highlight the numbers that you want to add. You will see that this is the range from B7 to E7, all right? And then when you close the brackets and you press enter, you will have the total as well. But when you click here on 333 as the total, you will see that the formula here in the formula bar up here, it looks totally different from the first one. Okay, the first one we used the plus, and then the second one we used a simple one. All right, let's do that again. So I said you press equals, and then you put the function that you want, which is to sum up or to add a digit, and then always and always do not forget the brackets, the opening brackets first, and then you highlight the digits that you want to add up, or the reference numbers that you want to add up. And then when you close the brackets and press enter, you will see that you have the total number of the student. Okay, and sometimes there are some times whereby you don't need to stress yourself with adding up a lot of digits. For example, if you have 100 students, so you do not need to stress yourself with adding. So what you do when you make the first addition, or when you do the first sum up, you can always click on the sum of the total that you have made, and then you see your mouse, you position it right here. Right here, there's a small box on the bottom right of your cell. You put your cursor there, right here, and then you see it will even change color to a dark black. So when you reach there, you left click on your mouse without removing your hand. You left click on your mouse without removing your hand, and then you drag, or it's like you are highlighting. So when you reach at the end of your work, like for example 100 results, when you release your hand from the mouse, you will see that the computer is going to put the total for you automatically. And it is correct. They are not wrong totals, okay? So let's do it again. After adding up a single total, you bring your cursor or your mouse at the bottom right. There's a very small box at the bottom right. So when you position your cursor there at that small box on the bottom right, you'll see that it even changes to a dark black color. And when you long press on the mouse without removing your finger on the left click of the mouse, and you drag to the bottom of your results, the moment you remove your left finger on the mouse, you will see the computer has given you the totals. All right. So that is how we do the sum of numbers. All right. And then we are going to do the same thing on the division. So division, as you know, in the school we use a forward slash, or we use a division sign with a slash and two dots. But here it may be hard for you to find a slash with the two dots that you used in school, but you can use a forward slash, just a forward slash. So how do we do this? So when we say equals and we open the brackets and we click, for example, English, which is 70. So for you to divide, what you should do is that we use this symbol, which is a forward slash, okay? Which is a forward slash, all right? And then we can say maybe we divide it with the total, which is 246. We click right here, which is F6. And then when we close the brackets and press enter, you will see that we have divided B6, which is 70, divided by F6, which is the total of 246. Okay, that is how the division works, and this is how the formula looks in the formula bar. Right? So you can still do the same in the you can still do the same the dragging. You position your cursor, you click in the division and position your cursor right here at the bottom, and then you will long press on the left, then you slide. You will see that your work, the computer is giving you the answers, but it will divide these numbers since it is the column you have based on that you want to divide. So here in the last one, it is dividing B10, whereby B10 is number 34. So B10 divided by F10, and F10 is number 147. All right? So that is basically how we deal with the first fundamental formulas. So the subtraction and the multiplication, I want you guys to practice them. And if any one of you gets the answers correct, you can push a screenshot into the comments. And then, yeah, we shall have to see who got this right. All right. So for just to give you a glimpse, for the subtraction, you have to use a minus sign. And then for the multiplication, you have to use a star. All right. So all these symbols, the star and the minus, they are all on your keyboard. So it is just a matter of you looking them up, and then you find them. You use them to compute the last two simple formulas, the multiplication and the subtraction. Okay. All right. So now, when you look at the home tab, still we have what we call conditional formatting. So conditional formatting is just how to deal with the greater than signs, less than signs, the bars, the colors, and the icons. So, for example, if you need to know who has performed higher on this instant, you have to if you want to do a simple analysis on and see who has performed high with the high marks. You can highlight the total right here. You can highlight the total. So when you come to the conditional formatting, you can use the data bars. All right, you can use the data bars, and then you select, for example, the gradient or the solid. For example, let me use the solid, the first one. When I hover my mouse right there, you can see what happens. So the computer will draw for me conditional formatting bars to show who has the highest level, or who has the biggest number, or who is the, you can easily determine who is the first, the second, and the last. All right, so this is a simple data analysis for figures in Excel. All right, or if you want to try another conditional formatting, you can use the colors, or you can use the icons. But to me, data bars are always the best. For example, if you select a gradient, you see how gradient behaves, and then when you click, that is how the gradient will behave. So this is always just a simple analysis to show you the performance of maybe your chart of your student, or of anything that you would like. All right, so from that we have the format as table. So here you are trying to design your work in a table format already. So if you have a table, for example, like this, and then you can be able to choose one of these colors that you want to apply in a table. But this one will be best after you come to the insert, as we do in Microsoft Word, and you insert a table. All right, when you insert a table, as we do in Microsoft Word, this is when you'll be able to use these features. All right, and the cells. So when we come to the cells ribbon, you see we have a lot. We have 1, 2, 3, but basically here we use the first two. We either insert or we delete. Okay, so these ones are self-explanatory. You insert a cell or you delete a cell. Okay, for example, when I want this cell, the first one, I can either delete it just within a single click, or I can insert another cell right there. Okay, so those ones, they are self-explanatory. You insert, that is to put a row, or you delete a row or a column. Then we have editing. So on editing here, we have the formulas. These are the basic formulas or the functions that we use in Excel. Some of them, the first minor ones that we use, they are here. And then, but we cannot use them here. I don't recommend us to use them here, because we already know the formulas of how to do this. So many times it is not good for us to use shortcuts. They are okay, but sometimes they are not necessary. And then when we look at the sort and the filter, when you choose the sorting and the filters, this is when you can be able to sort and maybe check, for example, a list of students who want to, you sort from A to B, you sort from Z to A, you sort from above, you sort from anywhere. So things like that. And then another one is to filter. You can filter up your data. So when you come down here and you click the filter, you will see that you have arrows right here on the main headings. So this is whereby you can always filter your work. Right? You can either filter your work. So for example, you need people with 34 or people with 90, and then you say okay. You will see that you have only two results on your worksheet. So this filter helps you to look up values that you need in an Excel workbook. So take an example. You have 1,000 students, and you need to know how many have hundreds, how many have 90s. So it is better for you to always filter them. Okay, you filter them. For example, I need the one that have 145 and 281, and then you click OK. You will be able to see these people. Or you can even say that, let me select all, and then you select all, you will see all the students coming back. Or if you have 1000 students and you need to see the ones with the 55 and 66, you select them right here, and then you press OK. All right. So the filter helps you check for specific people that you need in your workbook. So you always have to highlight, always never forget anything that you are doing in Microsoft Word or Excel, you have to highlight. So when you highlight and you come to the sort and filter, the filter is always here. Okay, the filter is always here. And then find and select. We tried this in Microsoft Word, whereby you can replace a word with anything that you want, or you can find a word and replace it with this. So, for example, if I say find Moses and replace Moses with James. So if I say replace all or replace, so you'll see that Microsoft Excel tells me, yes, all done. We made one replacement. And then when I close, you will see that Moses has shifted to James right here. So this is the find, and then you select to replace your documents. So yeah, those are the basic fundamentals in the home tab of Excel. And maybe one more tip, one more extra tip. So, for example, James, after designing such a beautiful work, and then you come to edit maybe anything, like for example, if James has improved in biology and he has got 99, so the moment you type 99 and you press enter, you will see that the figures also here in the total and the division, they do change. Okay, so let's do it once again. Just let's do it one more time. So for example, if James got 100 or 200 in science, so the moment you write 200 in science and then you press enter, you will see that the total changes, and then the division also does what? It changes. So that one is an extra tip. So when you make a mistake in a table and you're finished to edit, do not get worried. Just come in the table and then you edit the table to the figure that you like. So you will see that everything just gets to change automatically. You don't need to go there and then do the same things that we did on the first. Yes, thank you guys for joining this short um, course about the fundamental Excel tips. And see you in another one. Bye bye.